Now, the crown may look like an object, but it is also a person. But even more than that, it's the source and centre of all power in a kingdom.
Anyone's feelings, emotions, state of well-being, that is always going to come second to upholding the values of the constitutional monarchy.
I think they do still have a place, but it will depend on how they're able to handle this.
It's an institution that's withstood the test of time, shaken but not broken by war.
None of the royal family was in the palace.
Scandal.
Prince Andrew's accuser talking to the BBC.
And tragedy.
There has been a terrible accident involving Diana, the Princess of Wales, in Paris.
But now the British monarchy, rigidly bound by tradition and rules, is grappling with questions about its place in a modern, multicultural world.
Accusations involving race.
Race and mental health. Buckingham Palace bracing for the fallout.
Tonight, inside the firm, the family, and the ties that bind them.
The Americanness of Meghan is right at the heart of this.
The business of the British throne. What's at stake for the monarchy and the kingdom?
What I was seeing was history repeating itself, but more perhaps, or definitely far more dangerous, because then you add race in.
Well, when we talk about the firm, we're talking about the family business of the royal family.
Well, it's sort of West Wing world, isn't it? She has 5 departments in her household. There's her private secretary's department. Then there's the keeper of the privy purse, who deals with money. The master of the household, who looks after all the staff and the houses that the Queen uses for her role as head of state. Then you've got the Lord Chamberlain's office, responsible for all the ceremonial that we see the Queen involved with, dealing with the horses, the carriages, interacting with the army to deliver state occasions that we saw, for instance, at Harry and Meghan's wedding. And then finally, there's the royal collection, because the Queen is guardian on our behalf of the most phenomenal art collection.
You get the palaces and the tiaras and the outfits, but you are on public display. You are a public servant. The Queen gave up her life for her duty.
That sense of duty vividly portrayed in the Netflix series The Crown, that the Queen must preserve the monarchy above all else.
But in order to make the marriage work, they were encouraged to focus on the bigger idea, duty.
To really be able to put duty before family, it means that emotions, empathy, and anything in that space really has to be pushed to the side, because ultimately they are there to serve the country.
Duty is at the core of what the royal family stands for and represents.
From the outside, they serve in splendor. Their exact fortune isn't known, their personal finances shrouded in secrecy. But the Queen's personal wealth has been estimated at almost $500 million. But much of the riches do not belong to them personally. The priceless crown jewels and the royal collection of art are both held in trust by the monarch for the nation.
This may sound ridiculous, but the royal family are in some ways cash poor, asset rich. This is a royal family that are almost employees of this business. They have access to it. It's a perk of the job. Even Harry and Meghan had that as perks of the job. Essentially, none of this belongs to them, and it always ends up back in the same place as people move on into different roles or pass away.
Having the royal family is a quintessential part of what it means to be British.
We know how the royal family are, and we've grown with them.
The majority of the country like the royal family. They feel that they're a part of the royal family.
Taxpayers contribute to funding them, roughly $120 million per year.
The British public expect service from members of the royal family, and they're very blunt if they don't think they're getting it. So the Queen's responsibility is to balance the support she receives in terms of money from Parliament, from the taxpayer, with the outputs of each individual member of the royal family.
Much of their value to the overall economy is also related to the royal brand. Generating tourism, business trade, and even wearing a designer creates demand for that fashion. Royal weddings add billions to the British economy. The Queen and the Prince of Wales receive millions in dollars from their land holdings, using it to support their families in public duties.
Prince Harry has definitely benefited from Prince Charles's generosity over the years. In fact, when there were concerns over how much their security would cost us, Prince Charles momentarily stepped in to help them as they set up their new lives.
But Prince Harry told Oprah that he had no support from his royal family after leaving, which led them to sign lucrative deals with Spotify and Netflix.
We didn't
have a plan.
That was suggested by somebody else by the point of where my family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us.
Wait, hold up, wait a minute. Your family cut you off?
Yeah, in the first quarter of 2020. But I've got what my mum left me, and without that, we would not have been able to do this.
Both Prince William and Harry inherited the estates, the full estates, from their mother, Princess Diana, and Harry, of course, also took inheritance from the Queen Mother's death as well. And this has allowed him to not only invest his money very wisely over the years, but have quite a large sum available.
The royals bracing for blowback from Harry and Meghan's upcoming interview.
A new promo released for the Meghan and Harry interview, in which Meghan essentially says that the royal family has been spreading lies about her.
Before this interview happened, people were thinking in terms of bombshells, tell-all, which were about family scandals or differences. But I don't think anybody expected the more profound threats or questions that it raised.
Meghan shared with us that there was a conversation with you about Archie's skin tone. Mm-hmm. What was that conversation?
That conversation I'm never going to share.
It was one of the most damaging accusations ever laid at the feet of the firm.
In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
This central question of racism and the question about the colour of the newborn baby really raises major issues, so major that Prince William himself has actually come out and felt the need to say,
we're very much not a racist family.
When you heard that revelation that, she accuses someone in the family of asking about her baby's skin color, what did you think?
Disbelief, honestly, was my first thought. I mean, with the royal family in this country, there's always a complicated history of colonialism, etc. So I expected that there may be some sort of undercurrents of racism that she might face, but to hear that it was so outright was really shocking and really quite scary.
These accusations destroying the fairy tale of a biracial American actress joining the royal family.
She's not just a woman of color, she's an American, she's an actress, she's a divorcee. For me, I really thought, wow, the royal family is stepping into the 21st century.
I was proud. The fact that she appeared to be welcomed into the most powerful family in the land, an ancient monarchy, that made me feel hopeful.
Meghan and Harry, William and Kate, they were supposed to secure and symbolise the future of the British monarchy for decades to come. From that joyful day to where we are in 2021, it's just tragic.
We now know behind those perfect images, Meghan struggled.
I will say I went into it naively because I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. It wasn't something that was part of conversation at home.
We heard Meghan talking about some of her lowest points as a working member of the royal family, really seeing the decline of her mental health.
And I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening, constant thought.
And she also describes turning to those within the institution or within the business of the firm and asking for help.
I share this because there's so many people who are afraid to voice that they need help. And I know personally how hard it is to not just voice it, but when you voice it, to be told no.
Now, it sounds incredibly cold when we hear how she was turned away, or she was told that actually to go and get help publicly would be a very bad look for the Crown, for the institution. But these people who are employed within the institution are there for one reason only, and that is to protect the Crown. So anyone's feelings, emotions, state of well-being, that is always going to come second to upholding the values of the constitutional monarchy. And it's a very tough environment to be in.
When we come back, how much damage has been done to the firm?
I think this could be seismic to the modern monarchy. I'm not sure the British monarchy survives.
And can the most famous brothers in the world repair their relationship?
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.